Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of one Harley Quinn. It's probably the longest title I've ever heard. I'm not gonna lie, it probably is. Was directed by Cathy Yan and stars Margot Robbie once again as Harley Quinn, and she was obviously one of the few bright sides of Suicide Squad, along with a few other performances in that movie, but it's overall it's still a mixed bag for me. But anyway, and also starring Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Jurnee Smollet-Bell, and Ewan McGregor. So this takes place a few years after the events of Suicide Squad, and Harley has recently broken up with the Joker. Thankfully, he doesn't appear much in the movie, and thank God Jared Leto does not show up in this movie because I was not a huge fan of Jared Leto's interpretation of the Joker. The interpretation of the character was a fucking joke. But thank God for Joaquin Phoenix. But honestly, on a quick side note, I mean, I know that the Joker movie is not connected to the DCEU in any way possible, but I would rather have Joaquin Phoenix's Joker over Jared Leto's any day. And Joaquin Phoenix honestly is the best Joker that we've had since Heath Ledger. Sue me. So anyway, after recently breaking up with the Joker, she no longer has his protection, and there are many people who are wanting to kill Harley. While all this is going on, Black Mask is on the hunt of a girl who recently stole a very valuable diamond that's... Well, this is probably... I mean, I know a lot of critics are going to nitpick this as, like, some various plot that we've seen in, like, various other movies, but... anyway, this would eventually lead up to Harley eventually joining forces with various female characters, such as the Huntress, Black Canary, and Renee Montoya. So, the biggest criticism that I can guarantee a lot of people will say about the movie is that it doesn't necessarily feel like a Birds of Prey movie, because the main focus of the movie is mostly Harley Quinn. And I understand that Harley Quinn is a popular character. She's been a popular DC character ever since her first appearance in Batman the Animated Series. But I'm a fan of Harley as well, and she's a great character, but it doesn't really turn into a Birds of Prey movie until, like, the third act. And I know that can be a major issue, and I saw this a few weeks ago with some of my friends, and one of my friends, Austin, who you may have seen in, like, a few of my videos, has pointed out that his biggest criticism with the movie is that they didn't have Barbara Gordon, who, if you read the comics, is a big part of the Birds of Prey team. But, and I can understand that some people would have a problem with that as well, and that could be a huge criticism with the movie, but I can see that as a nitpick, but I mean, it was kind of an issue for me as well, but there are a lot of things about the movie that I really like. For the most part, Margot Robbie is still good as Harley Quinn, and most of the action sequences, well, there's actually one in particular that's probably my favorite action sequence in the movie, is that when Harley infiltrates a police station with a grenade launcher, and she's shooting, like, non-lethal rounds, like beanbags or something like that. I thought that was pretty impressive, and it wasn't afraid to go with an R rating, and the amount of violence in the movie, I wouldn't say it's as violent as Deadpool, because that's one of my few issues with the movie, is that it almost sort of reminds me a bit of Deadpool, because Harley, in a few moments in the movie, would eventually end up breaking the fourth wall. She narrates throughout most of the movie, and I can see that also being an issue for a lot of people, but mostly I would prefer Deadpool to be the only comic book character capable of breaking the fourth wall. But I mean, if Harley, Harley's still entertaining, so she gets a pass. But uh, but still, at the same time, it still reminds me a bit of Deadpool. But some people might like it, some people might hate it, but I don't care. Um, one of the few other issues is that a few levels of character development. There's not really much character development. One of the few characters that gets the least amount of character development is mostly the Huntress. She does have an interesting backstory, and I would have wanted to see more of this character, but she would pop up here and there, and she would become an important part of the third act of the story. But because, like I said, it doesn't turn into a Birds of Prey movie until like the third act. Um, One of the few other interesting characters in the movie is Detective Renee Montoya, which is another character I also really liked ever since I first watched Batman the Animated Series. And Batman the Animated Series, for the most part, is one of my few favorite cartoons like ever made. I mean, hell, it might be my favorite cartoon. I mean, I know there's a lot of people. Also, on a quick side note, my friend Austin recently got me the complete series of Avatar: The Last Airbender on DVD, so I'll be getting on that soon, and I don't know when, but we'll eventually end up doing a review for the Clone Wars since season 7 has already it's already streaming on Disney Plus. So yeah. But there's so much that I want to talk about on my channel, and I'm sorry that I haven't been able to do much in a while. But anyway, back to the review. As for Ewan McGregor as Black Mask, his character can be a little bit over the top at times, but he could at the same time be menacing. And there's one scene in particular where he has his right hand man, Victor Zsasz, cut a guy's face off, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, movie, you're not really afraid to go that far with the violence. I wouldn't say it's as. I mean, it's not as. I wouldn't say it's as violent. Probably the most violent comic book movie I've probably seen is probably Logan. So, I mean, Birds of Prey is by far not the most violent comic book movie I've seen. So Logan still holds that title. And as for the action sequence at the end of the movie, it has a lot of good moments that I really liked. For the most part, there's one scene where Harley is like chasing these two cars by using roller skates. I thought that was pretty cool for the most part. I mean, she does get to kick a lot of ass, and plus we get to see Black Canary use her canary cry. Throughout the entire movie, I wonder when was she ever going to use her cry, but she doesn't use her cry until the end. But as for the effect that they used for the cry, I thought looked pretty good for the most part. So for the most part, has a lot of great action sequences here and there. The story can be a little bit complex at some points, but and there's also a few issues with character development that I think would have been it would have benefited the movie a little bit better. But for the most part, it's still a really entertaining movie. It's not as good as, say, like Wonder Woman or Shazam, because, I mean, those are the two best movies so far in the DCEU. As far how I would rank this in the DCEU, I would say put it at number 3 for now. I still can't wait for Wonder Woman 1984, so yeah. It has its issues, but has good performances here and there. Great action sequences. They're brutal as hell. And it was just entertaining for the most part. So I'm going to give Birds of Prey a B+. So if you're a fan of Harley Quinn, then I definitely recommend checking this out. Or if you're a comic book fan, just go see the movie. But if you're a Birds of Prey fan, you might end up being disappointed because it doesn't really, like I said, it doesn't become a Birds of Prey movie until the third act. So uh, yeah. So thank you so much as always for watching. I'm really looking forward to doing more reviews very soon. I'm sorry that I haven't been able to do much videos in a while. I mean, there's been so much stuff going on. I recently had a dentist appointment, so too much going on. But I will definitely be doing more videos really soon, and I'll very soon I'll have I'll be doing something that I haven't done before on my channel, and for the past few weeks I've been doing this Blu-ray collection, so I can't wait to go into more detail with that. So yeah, so thank you so much for supporting my channel. I'm looking forward to doing more videos really soon, and if you want my thoughts on old or new movies, of course, you know where to find me.